Alright, welcome back to the Blender through Docwalk. This document is the nodes introduction. So this is a pretty cool topic, so without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to make our own workspace here because let's make another compositing one, and we're going to call this node. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set one of each node type editor. So we've already got a compositor node editor. Let's do a texture node editor. Split that. Bring this over. Get geometry node editor and shader node editor, just so you can see how similar they are, how different they are, and kind of get a good idea for what each one. And let's just close this guy out. All right. Okay. The first section we're going to talk about are the headers for each shader editor. Or I'm sorry, each node editor. Okay, you can already tell that each one is, slightly different. We have use nodes option over here. We've got shader type selection over here. You can see each one is a little different. Their tool options are slightly different. Some of them have the tool tab, or I'm sorry, have other than the tool tab. Some of them have the view tab, options tab, so each one is just a little different. So, as far as the header goes, each one should have a view menu. This allows a change of the view of the editor, right? The select menu allows you to, allows for different selection modes and methods. Add menu allows you to add different nodes. It has all of the different node types, and then for each type, every node that you can select and add. The node menu allows you to perform different operations specific to nodes and multiple nodes together, that sort of a thing. The use nodes option up here just tells your render engine whether or not to use the nodes in the render. The pinned mode here, you can turn it on or off. All this tells, or what this does is if you, for whatever you have selected, let's jump into a tab where we've got our viewport open. Here we go. So say I've got something selected, and I turn on I pin it. There we are, and I pin it. All right, now it doesn't matter if I deselect it or select something else. That object's node tree, right, the material node tree for that object will stay active in my node editor. So, I can do whatever else. It's not going to change what's going on here, which allows you to work on a separate node tree from the current active selected object in your viewport. The parent node button, this little kind of corner up arrow here, and here, that just takes you up to the parent node tree. And the last major element mentioned is within the header is the snapping tool. So these are your snapping options, and either you can turn snapping on or off in your editor. It just simply helps you to align your nodes and just kind of keep it clean looking without having especially with the larger constructions, that they can get pretty unwieldy if you don't keep them nice and ordered and organized. And of course, just like with most other editors, you've got your toolbar. You can activate by hitting the letter T on your keyboard. And your sidebar, which is in these, it is already visible, but there you go. And that is activated or brought to front by hitting your letter N. Okay, now we're going to talk about navigating this workspace. So I'm going to go to, let's just go to shading, since we already got a guy open here. All right, navigating is, because this is a two-dimensional surface, it's not the same as navigating a 3D viewport. So some of the keys do similar things, but not exactly the same. Your wheel is zoom in and out. And your middle mouse button, clicking and holding, is pan. So I'm holding my middle mouse button down and panning. You can also zoom if you hold Control down and your middle mouse button and use your mouse movement to zoom up and down. So up and down will, side to side doesn't do anything. Just up is zoom in, down is zoom out. So that's holding Control down, holding your middle mouse button down, and then just moving your mouse up and down is another way to zoom. Now, if you are zoomed, I don't know if you remember, we were talking about this in your sidebar, right? If you hold your Control button down and do the same thing, right? Middle mouse click and pull up and go down, you zoom in and out. If you remember how we got back home, or how we got back to zoom 0, you simply hit the home key and it brings it back to normal. It's the same thing in your nodes viewport, or in your nodes editor. If you hit the home key, it brings it back to zoom 0. And the last thing to know as far as this goes, if you remember in the 3D viewport, the Shift A shortcut key brings up the add menu. Okay, you can add meshes that way. To add nodes, it is the same shortcut in your node editor. So Shift A brings up the add menu, has your entire node selection type, right? And all of the nodes you can add. So like that. And of course you can plug it into whatever and start having fun. All right, so that is the nodes introduction. And the next one, we are going to go into the node parts themselves, and I will see you then. Thanks for watching.